Back to the starting lineup with Scott Purrier, Ned Reynolds, and Art Haynes on your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. 102.1 The One.
And we thank you very much for being with us on the starting lineup. Again, a reminder, our phone number and text number, both the same, folks, 447-1021. Of course, the area code is 417. I'm Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier.
And a special guest. Art Haynes, of course, will be with us in a while, but our guest.
Special guest on the line with us is the noted local golf instructor, top 100 every year since they started doing it with Golf Digest. We welcome in Rick Grayson from the Rivercut Golf Course and Bobby and Betty Allison course, and pretty much golf in the Ozarks. Rick Grayson. Rick, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Beautiful day, the beautiful week to be playing golf.
Absolutely. Is there a bad week to play golf, though?
No, there's not. If we're not playing golf, we're talking golf. So the next best thing to playing is talking about it.
Exactly. Well, we wanted to bring you on because you've got a special event coming up on April 4th. Is that a week from Saturday, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, Saturday morning. The Ozarks Area Golf Hall of Fame induction ceremony and a golf tournament paired with it, along with the breakfast. Kind of give us the details.
I'll make it real brief on the history of it, but we started the Ozarks Golf Hall of Fame about 20 years ago. And during kind of a recession area and a COVID area, and in my part, about 6 knee operations, it laid pretty dormant. And now that everything's back to normal, we decided to start the Hall of Fame up. And we have a fantastic group of individuals that are going to go inducted into the Ozarks Golf Hall of Fame. And it's about honoring all the great golfers in this area. And we've used it in the past as a little fundraiser for junior golf, where we say it's more now about the future of the game than the past, but let's honor the past and get more people involved by recognizing the greats of a few years ago that were so important in the Ozarks Golf Hall of Fame.
And Rick, they are among whom?
Yeah, who are
well, our inductees, I'll go through them real quick and come back. And if you have any questions about some of them, what they've done, but we're inducting Anne Cain, which was a unbelievable story back in its day in the 80s, to where she won the women's state amateur when she was 14 years old, not the girls' state amateur, the women's, and she beat all the college players and all the noted female golfers up in the Kansas City and St. Louis area when she was 14, got ranked second best junior golfer in the United States by winning some national tournaments, played in 2 U.S. Opens as an amateur. And Ann is a golf instructor in Florida, a real noted, famous golf instructor in St. Augustine, Florida. She's coming in for the event. We have Christy Blasey, that's a tremendous local golfer, has played well for a number of years, placed very high last year in one of the USGA national events. We've got Mark McBride from Lebanon, Missouri. That Mark was the first golfer to win the Missouri State Amateur back-to-back years since Tom Watson did it back in the 60s. We've got a gentleman named Kai Laffoon that we're inducting. Kai was the 1934 PGA Tour's leading money winner, played in the first Masters. I believe he played in the first 4 or 5 Masters. And we have local golf legend Alan Rosen that played college golf. He grew up at Hickory, won the club championship there many years, won the Missouri State Amateur, played college golf, and had a great career, and now is a local dentist here in Springfield. So we've got 5 great inductees that we're going to induct.
What a great class. And I was fortunate. My first gig at the News Leader was as the golf writer back in 1985 because Tim Burke, who was the regular golf writer, was out of town one week. So I got to cover the state amateur at Twin Oaks, and that kind of led to being able to do it for the next 15, 20 years. Anne Cain was one of my first stories I think I got to write. She was one of your pupils, I believe, starting out. Great golfer at Glendale, went on, had a standout career at Georgia. And is she? You said is she an instructor now? Is that correct? Still?
Yes, she's a Golf Magazine top 100 golf instructor, and she's worked with a name you'll know with I can't. The Bowman girl. I can't.
Paige Bowman. Yeah.
Paige.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Sarah, but that's the mother. But it's Paige Bowman. Anne's been her golf instructor for the last couple of years. So
Really?
kind of a great Springfield connection. Yeah.
And then, McBride, just a phenomenal run as a Lebanon golfer, I believe, in high school, and Mizzou. Yes. I think he was a Mizzou guy in college.
He was. He won several tournaments.
Christy Blasey was one of the 15 Howard sisters that won every tournament there. It was a Howard winning everything from Sedalia back in those days, and then it just carried over into the women's amateur side.
Yep.
Kyla Fooney's kind of one of those, because we always talk about and know Horton Smith, and we know about Payne Stewart. What can you tell us about his presence in Springfield, his career back in the day? Because I know you're a golf historian and you've got those facts.
Well, Kyla Foon was a tremendous player. He was a big-time gambler. Him and Titanic Thompson back in the day would go into cities and go out to the nicest country club they could find and maybe play real bad the first day against a bunch of members for some money, and then say, let's do this again tomorrow, and come back and shoot the course record. But Kyla Foon won the very first Phoenix Open, and he was, again, in 1934, he was the tour's leading money winner. A famous story about Kai was he putted badly, and this is back in the day when they drove their cars between each tournament stop, and he tied a rope around his putter and dragged it down the highway just to punish it because it had performed badly out on the golf course. So there's lots of funny stories about Kyla Foon.
That's where the vacation scene where they drug the dog on the bumper, I guess, kind of came from, maybe. But
that's right, exactly.
Yeah,
and Kai played a lot at Hickory Hills and Twin Oaks. Him and Gene Salee were good buddies. And even when he got elderly, he was out at Twin Oaks either playing 9 holes or playing cards with some of the members. And there were a lot of great stories about Kyla Foon.
And then Alan Rosen, I thought he was a great quarterback at Greenwood for Moon Mullins, and he was an even better golfer. And all those guys, just so nice. I mean, when Alan Rosen lost, it hurt you because it's like, gosh, he's so darn nice. You hate to see him not win a state amateur and not win this big tournament, but he usually won. And I don't know, Ned, do you go to him for a dentist, you said? Or?
I do indeed. His father-in-law is Dio Daly, who's been my dentist for 50-some years, and now Alan, of course, is pretty much taking over the practice.
Yeah, we need to have Alan and bring Raleigh Hurst back and Randall Schultz and Wayne and just have a local senior shootout or something. That'd be a great event.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. We should do that. And Alan Rosen's my dentist too, and he's not only been a great golfer, he's just promoted golf throughout the area. And, he's one of those guys, as you know, Scott, when he was growing up, every one of us looked at him, thought there may be the next Payne Stewart because his amateur career was right along Payne, so to speak. And, he first went to Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech back in its day was like one of the premier golf golf teams in the country. And Puggy Blackman was the coach, and Puggy just told him, look, Alan, you're going to be a tremendous player, but if you stay here, you're probably not going to play a whole lot until you get to be a senior. So he transferred and became an All-American golfer down in, I believe it was SMU or SMU or Baylor.
No, it was Rice.
Rice.
He went to Rice.
Rice. And he was an All-American there, so worked out great for him, and he's a tremendous guy.
He was the second golfer that probably had a dad that told Moon Mullins, just get into the tournaments, don't mess with his swing, because same story with Payne Stewart and Bill Stewart with Paul Moon Mullins back in the day, too. So, hey, tell us about the festivities then on April 4th, that Saturday morning. What's kind of the timetable, and what can people do to get involved?
Okay, well, we're going to have a breakfast where we announce the inductees, tell their stories, let them do a short speech about what golf's meant to them, and that'll take place about 7:30 in the morning on that Saturday, the 4th, and that's going to be combined about a 30 or 40-minute thing to where we have breakfast with them, meet the inductees. Then we take them down to the first tee before we have a best ball scramble tournament at Rivercut, and we have each one of them do a ceremonial first tee shot. Each one of them will get to hit a shot, and and get more applause from the crowd, and then we go out and play 18 holes as a little fun tournament there at Rivercut, and that'll probably kick off about somewhere between 8:30 and 9 before we get out and play golf. And people can sign up to play in the tournament at the Greene County Park Board website, or they can call Rivercut Golf Course for more information. But it's coming up on a Saturday the 4th, and we're looking forward to it.
That'll be a lot of fun and a great honor too, Rick, and congratulations from all of us. Do want to ask you a quick question. I'm quite sure you were riveted on the appearance last night of Tiger out on the semi-golf course, so to speak. What were your impressions?
Well, it makes me think he's not quite ready for Augusta yet. He's not 100% said he's going to play or he's not going to play that I'm aware of. Maybe after last night, he's taken a step back and looking at it. He's obviously still has a great golf swing, great competitor, but I just don't know that his body can hold up on playing the 4 days on one of the hilliest golf courses he'd ever played, the Augusta National. So he did hit good shots, but he's just a little rusty.
Rick, Augusta used to be an annual trip for you for either the practice rounds or the tournament. Do you still try to do that?
Yes, yeah. Yes. 2 weeks from today. I count it down.
Who's counting, right?
Yeah, that's right. This will be my 14th trip to Augusta National. I look forward to it. My goal, this is the 90th Masters being played this year. Mm-hmm. My goal is to do the next 10 for the 100th anniversary, call a press conference, and retire from going. So that's kind of my
Will they let you do it on the front steps there at the clubhouse at Augusta National or not?
No, I don't think I have that much pull there at Augusta National. No, it might be in the caddy's barn somewhere or the maintenance shop. But yeah, my goal is to go to 100 and the 100th anniversary, and then probably just stay home and watch it on TV. But I love to go. I've been a Masters fan all my life. One of the first golf memorabilia that I ever had was a friend of my dad's in Oklahoma in 1968, went to the Masters, and he went, so he got a badge to get in. And when he came back to Pryor, Oklahoma, I was about 14 years old, he gave me that Masters badge. And I had it on my little bucket hat that I wore for several years. I don't still have it, but I've collected badges over the years, so I do have one, but I don't have the original that I had. But I loved it back then and love it today.
Rick, we're about at the quarter pole or thereabouts for the PGA Tour season. It feels kind of weird, but is Scottie Scheffler actually human? Are we seeing this right before our eyes? Because it used to be a given that you turn on Sunday and he was somewhere in that on that first page of the leaderboard. Had some struggles with the first round. Now he's kind of having a few struggles, isn't he?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of doubt that's creeping in his mind. Obviously, he still played really well, but just not up to his standards. But, I always wondered this, Scott, with the swing that is having so many moving parts and how you can synchronize that. If his timing's not just exactly perfect, he could really struggle, and I think that's what he's going through. If you analyze his swing, it's a little shorter than it used to be, and when a swing is long at the top of the backswing, it gives the golfer a little bit more time to time his swing by having a lengthy backswing. It's shorter than it had been previously. I'm not sure why, but it's shorter than it has been, and it's just harder to time those moves coming down than he needs to, because he's always been a golfer that's thrived on timing and tempo, and that's off right now.
What was your first lesson? What year? And do you remember who it was?
Oh, yeah, I do. This summer, like June the 5th, will be my 50th anniversary for being in the golf business.
That's crazy.
My first lesson was in July with a guy named Cletus Newman. The lesson was $7.75, which was highly overpaid for what I knew at the time. And it's probably one of my greatest teaching we'll say credentials, that Cletus didn't quit. He still played after taking a golf lesson from me. So that's probably my highest honor that he still played. But yeah, it will be 50 years ago this June that happened.
What was it? What was your strong point that you were trying to teach on that first lesson?
Whatever Golf Magazine had in it, that issue, I would read it and hope my students, Ned, had that problem when they came. Because if they did,
or you had the magazine with you on the range, and you said, "Well, how do I fix my chipping?" Just a second, let me get to page 67 here and see what they say. But
exactly.
You always keep one step ahead of your students, Rick. That's the
yes,
key.
And I'll tell you why I was so great and made for teaching was when the student back in those days hit the ball, I could accurately 100% tell them what direction the ball went. So when Cletus sliced it and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, you're slicing every one of them." And
he said, "I paid for this."
Yeah, that's $7.75. That it was highly overpriced for what I knew.
Well,
but, it was a long time ago.
We would love to bring you back in June around that 50th anniversary and get more in depth into how instruction has changed. But there's always a new hot, whether it's cross-handed or arm bar or whatever that people try. They're always looking for that fix. Has your teaching stayed consistent over those 50 years? Are you still teaching pretty much the same thing now that you did back when you started?
Not at all. No, I mean, it was not at all. What as an example with Cletus Newman, slicing the ball, I really had, to be honest, very little idea of what he needed to do to fix that. And now what I've learned through the last 50 years is a lot of golf swings the mistakes are made before they even swing the club, meaning they have a bad grip. So they're in trouble before they even take the club back, or they've misaligned their body and their club face, or they're too far from the ball, or they're too close to the ball. What I've learned is if you can get a golfer in a good, ready to go position, good posture, a good grip, good ball position, they make pretty good swings. Instead, back in the 50 years ago, I would try to make their swing better when their fundamentals were not good. And that's what I've learned. Of course, we've gotten so much smarter and better with all the technology from iPhones and force plates and those types of things that make it crystal clear what a golfer's doing. But it's like anything. It always goes back to the basic fundamentals.
Is Cletus Newman still living?
No, he's not.
Oh, that's too bad. Would love to bring him on in June and have him talk about the first lesson, because he's got probably a lot more golf coverage right now than he ever thought he would have in his life for 775. Yeah. So, Rick, again, it's Saturday, April 4th at Rivercut Golf Course, the Ozarks Golf Hall of Fame. Ceremony about 7:30 that morning, you said, and then a breakfast and then a little two-person tournament afterward, correct?
Correct. That's it.
And then go to the Springfield Park Board website to sign up?
Yep, that's right. Or they can call Rivercut Golf Course. But thanks, guys, for having me in. It's always great to visit with you.
You betcha. Rick, we appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Rick Grayson, one of the area's golf legends, visiting with us. We'll take a timeout on the starting lineup. Right back in a second.
You're listening to the starting lineup with Scott Puryear, Ned Reynolds, and Art Haynes on 102.1 The One.